Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City, and this is the Hollywood Squared Circle, where we talk about wrestling episodes of non-wrestling shows. And today we are talking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, Season 2, Episode 8, entitled Honey, I'm Wrestling with a Problem and the Chief. For those of you who don't know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, is based on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the movie, and of course the sequels. It aired in syndication from 1997 to 2000, spanning 3 seasons and 66 episodes. It starred Peter Scolari in the Rick Moranis role of Wayne Szalinski, Barbara Allen Woods as his wife Diane, Hilary Tuck as their daughter Amy, Thomas Dekker as their son Nick, and George Buzza as their neighbor and police chief Jake. George Buzza was, of course, also Turner in Maniac Mansion. This wrestling episode actually has 2 wrestlers in it, Bret Hart and Owen Hart as Bret Hart and Owen Hart. But the craziest thing is that when this episode was made, Bret was firmly in WCW, so Peter Scolari really is the peacemaker of the Monday Night Wars. Speaking of, this entire series was developed for TV by former WWE, WCW, and Weird Science the TV show writer Ed Ferrara. So let's hope he knows what he's doing. Also, this episode is an hour long, which is at least double the length that any show of this caliber has any right to be. Anyway, here's what happens. Amy is watching TV and sees an ad for the North American Wrestling Union, or NAWU, and their next show is in Colorado, which is apparently where the Zelinskis live. It's miraculously revealed that Amy is a huge wrestling fan, and she loves the Harts, so she really wants to go. Unfortunately, the show is already sold out, so she's pissed. However, the next day at school, Bret and Owen are in the schoolyard in jeans and black shirts, casually signing autographs, as I assume they are often wont to do. So Amy runs up and she's like, "Oh my god, I love you guys." And they're like, "Hey, you're Amy Szalinski, right? We know you. You've been writing us fan letters for years." Again, this is the first time in 2 seasons that Amy has revealed even a passing interest in pro wrestling. And she's like, "Well, I know your show is sold out, but do you guys want to come over for dinner tonight?" So cut to dinner, and the whole family is there, including the fucking police chief, who is apparently also a big wrestling fan. Of course, Wayne says something derogatory about amateur wrestling being more legitimate than professional wrestling. So Bret and Owen are upset, and then Wayne's like, maybe you can go out on the front lawn and show us all your dynamic wrestling moves. So everybody watches Bret and Owen go out on the lawn at night and chain wrestle, to everyone's amazement. And then Bret gives Wayne a delayed nerve hold, causing him to feel the pain seconds later. And then the Chief and Diane are like, "Hey, this looks like fun." So the Chief fucking body slams Owen, and Diane gives Bret an arm wringer, injuring both immediately. So cut to the hospital, and now Bret has his arm in this giant cast, and Owen has his leg in a giant cast. How he hurt his leg from a body slam, I still don't quite understand. Anyway, they can't compete in their big match now, so they demand that Wayne and the Chief take their place. Which is kind of bullshit because Diane hurt Bret, not Wayne. Bret and Owen then leave in a car that says Bret and Owen Hart on the side of it. So now Wayne and the Chief have to face a tag team called the Executioner Brothers, and get this, they're actually real-life criminals. Sounds like they're not good people at all. But Wayne's like, "Don't worry, I have this wacky invention that is perfect for this. It's a muscle suit that makes me impervious to pain and gives me super strength, and it's entirely controlled by this off-brand remote control. This is how we will win." But the Chief is like, "I don't know, I don't really condone violence in front of children." But then Wayne and the Chief's sons get caught by the principal taking bets on the match at school. So Wayne and the Chief are like, "Fuck that, guys, now you guys are grounded and you can't even go to the show." So now the sons are pissed off at home and they go snooping around on Wayne's wacky invention computer that contains very specific information. and they find out that the Executioner brothers are actually fugitives who were once locked up by the chief. So now they're out for revenge. So the kids are like, we gotta get into this show somehow. Cut to the show, and I will say, decent arena setup for a sitcom, but the ring is comically large. Anyway, the Executioner brothers come to the ring. They're named Judge and Jury, and they're carrying a giant gavel and a giant book. Nice touch. And then Diane and Amy come out dressed as satin policemen, which is not only creepy, but also makes no sense, because if they're policemen, wouldn't they be on the side of the judge and the jury? But then the boys sneak into the arena by using that old trick of sitting on the other guy's shoulders and putting on a trench coat and a hat and just walking in, even though they do not have a ticket to a sold-out show. Then the chief comes out, and then Wayne comes out, and Wayne is so excited with his suit on, and he's talking to fans, and he's signing autographs, and he doesn't even realize that the Executioner brothers have already thrown the referee out of the ring and are beating the shit out of the chief, which Wayne is somewhat surprised at, so I guess he thought this was a work. Wayne foolishly gave the remote control that controls his muscle suit to Amy, who put it on the apron, and it fell off the apron onto the floor, and people are kicking it around, and it now ends up in the hands of a baby who is sitting in the crowd. Wayne doesn't realize this until he gets hit, and he's like, ow, that hurts. This suit doesn't work at all. But then the baby starts pressing the buttons on the remote, and Wayne starts spinning around and hitting everybody. And then Wayne starts uncontrollably beating the shit out of a fan in the front row. But then Diane finally finds the baby, gets the remote control, and gives it back to Wayne, who is now in control of his own suit. But then the boys see Diane, and they're like, psst, hey, Diane, it's us, in this trench coat stacked on top of each other. The Executioner brothers are actually fugitives. Like, that changes anything at this rate. So then Diane and Amy take off the Executioner brothers' masks, and I guess everyone immediately recognizes them as criminals. And then the boys, still stacked on each other, go over to the PA system and start playing Pop Goes the Weasel. Because apparently the chief hates that song and loses his fucking mind every time he hears it. So the chief goes crazy, makes a big hot comeback, and then he pins the Executioner brothers, then arrests them. And at no point do Brett and Owen come back, because why pay off the story and why have the two actual wrestlers involved in the actual wrestling portion of the show? Well, that was the wrestling episode of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show. This has been the Hollywood Squared Circle, and I have completely wasted your time.